Let me ask you a quick question. Do you think we are in the middle of an information war? Have you been watching the Twitter files recently when we're looking at all of the massive coordinated action by U.S. government agencies, the White House, Senate subcommittees to ask for specific accounts on Twitter to be stopped for saying specific things? And look, in 2020, even what I was doing on London Real was suppressed because the ideas I was talking about at the time were thought to be too controversial, even though a year or two later, everything we talked about is now almost being uttered mainstream. My point is this, is that we are in the middle of an information war, but that's not the worst part, because we're also in the middle of a financial war, and that is your own freedom over your own finances and your money. And look, I know a lot about the concept of freedom of speech, and I believe it's one of our most fundamental human rights. But more important than that is our financial freedom, because without that, freedom of speech is actually just a luxury. If you can't actually afford to eat, to live, the last thing you really care about is your freedom to speak. And this is a conversation I had with Dan Held, who's a really smart guy, OG Bitcoiner. And he said the same thing to me. He said, Brian, you know what? Financial freedom is actually more of a fundamental human right than even that of freedom of speech, which we both agreed was crucial. And so, regardless of how you feel about cryptocurrency, and of course, you watch the stuff in the news and SBF and FTX, and of course, prices are down. You have to agree in the long run, we want a system where you can have control of your money. Now, a lot of you might say, oh, Brian, I got a lot of money in the bank. I have it in stocks. And I might say, well, it's actually not your money in the bank. The bank has custody of your money. And the day they decide that you're not worthy of it, or the government says you can't have it, guess what? It ain't your money no more. And that's why I think it's crucial that you have, or at least understand the concept of having assets on a blockchain that are in your custody. And thanks to this incredible invention called cryptography, we are able to actually hold assets out there, digital assets, based on a private key, a number that you can hold, and you can access those from anywhere in the world without anything else. No ID, no nothing. You just need this code, and you can have access to an asset like Bitcoin that you can then move around. It's a pretty amazing concept. And so, educate yourself, because this could very well be your future and your freedom. And, you know, a lot of people used to joke that your money might get seized in a third world country, you know, like Zimbabwe or Venezuela or something like that, until it happened in goddamn Canada during that trucker strike, right? Normal people had their financial assets and their crypto assets seized by the government, and everyone woke up and said, oh my God, it's happening in a G7 country. So that means it can happen to you. That's why I believe in education. That's why for the past nearly 2 years, I've graduated over 1,000 students in my Crypto and DeFi Academy. We focus on the fundamentals, the basics. I teach you about the history of crypto assets. We go into basic things like cold wallets and hot wallets. We've been teaching self-custody since the beginning. I've never recommended to hold assets on any other platform except your own custody. We also teach you about the basics of DeFi. And by the way, DeFi protocols didn't break. They're the only thing that worked out there, because it's based on a smart contract and not based on some 30-year-old vegan that's going to move your assets around from Alameda back to FTX, etc. And so we teach you the basics. I also give you my view on it after 15 years on Wall Street, what I learned about trading, what I learned about risk management, what I learned about portfolio management, what I learned about emotional management. All this is wrapped up in a 4-week course. It's taught personally by me, live. We have an incredible community. We have an accountability system. We have a blueprint. And we also have levels afterwards, Kings of DeFi and my investment club, where I actually put capital into some of the most exciting blockchain, artificial intelligence, and metaverse protocols out there. Hell, I'm getting excited just talking about it. So look, our next class starts on Monday. If you're interested, go on over to Instagram and DM me the word crypto, and I'll follow up with you. Or go to londonreal.tv/DeFi, DEFI, and check us out. It's an application-only process, but if we think you're worthy and that you're going to come in and do great things, then we'll bring you in. And like I said, we're days away from starting our next class. Educate yourself, because this literally could mean life and death for you. This could be your freedom to do anything. And there will be a time in the future where you'll wish you had crypto assets or understood it. And don't be that one guy or that one person that failed to do so. All right, head on over to Instagram, DM me. Let's start chatting. And I hope I see you on that first live call on Monday. Peace.